An 8-driver strong final for the Supercars here at Knockhill is about to get underway. It'll be Ollie O'Donovan who starts on pole position with Robert Vitols in the black Citroen C4 and Ovenden in the red Citroen DS3 alongside him. The marshal then points towards the lighting gantry. The final for round 4 of the Supercars is about to get underway. Ready to race board then is on here at Knockhill. Green light and go, great start from Ovenden, and sadly Vitols doesn't get away at all as they come down towards the first corner. So it's O'Donovan then with the advantage. Ovenden gets challenged by Steve Hill, they make contact into the first corner. So Ovenden then loses out as O'Donovan leads the way from Steve Hill, from Ovenden, from Mike Seller as Knockhill into the gravel at the first turn and loses time then to Mark Donnelly. But another perfect start to the race once again for the Irishman Ollie O'Donovan. He leads the way as he comes through the gravel section for the first time. Let's see what's going to play out as the drivers come into their Joker laps and see whether anybody goes in for the first time. Yes, they do, and that looks like it was the reigning champion of Mark Donnelly who went in for his Joker on the first time. Likewise, Derek Knockhill, so those two drivers going through, and sadly there for the reigning champion, losing traction and losing position to the number 111 of Knockhill and slowing on the exit of that as well. And O'Donovan, the race leaders, into the gravel. I don't believe it. Off goes Seller as well. Goodness me, what drama. So it's Hill that leads the way from Ovenden, from Ollie O'Donovan then, as they come through into the final series of corners once more. Absolutely unbelievable. We only caught the back end of what happened there to Ollie O'Donovan, but that is absolutely huge. Maybe he lost it on the painted part on the curb. It's really slippery down through there. You can see how shiny it is. It's very greasy, very wet. And as such, there's not a lot of grip at all. And either way, Steve Hill looks like he could be on for a win here if he keeps it in the straight and narrow. Sadly, Mike Seller's race has ended very early in the gravel trap at that second corner at Duffer's Dip, and he'll be very disappointed with that because it's not the first time he's been in there so far here today. Good to see that Robert Vitols did manage to get going after pretty much a non-start. He didn't move away at all, and Mark Donnelly has retired also from this race. So we're 2 drivers down already, and we're only at the halfway stage here at Knockhill as Hill comes over the timing line once again to start lap 4. And he's pulling out an advantage actually over Tristan Ovenden as well. 1.9 seconds it sits at between the top 2. So that's a very welcome sight there for Steve Hill. 71 years old he is, I remind you as well. The oldest competitor by some margin in the 5 Nations British Rallycross Championship, at least in the Supercars category. And now he is on for a very promising result here, as O'Donovan has also dropped back as well, now behind Robert Vitols. So what has happened to Ollie O'Donovan here? Was it a technical problem that's robbed him of victory here? Either way, now Robert Vitols goes Joker as he pulls out from behind Tristan Ovenden into the hairpin bend they go. So Robert Vitols here, despite not getting away at all at the start, could be on for a net podium finish if it stays as it is through the gravel, through the cement dust, I should say, owing to an earlier engine problem for one of our competitors here at Knockhill. He goes out of the Joker lap. He's made his already, doesn't have to worry about that, as Ovenden gets it a bit sideways and a bit wide through those first series of corners there. So, well, this is very interesting indeed. So through into the final series of corners, there's Mike Seller's stricken Citroen DS3, as I mentioned earlier on in this race. There is Steve Hill, though, the race leader, coming through into the Joker then for the final time, and taking out cones there is Ovenden. I think he was just a bit target fixated on the back of Steve Hill there and made a very late decision to not Joker, of course, because Ovenden is going to do it at the end of the last lap. So a last-minute change in strategy then for Tristan Ovenden. We know that Robert Vitols, who is now sitting in the de facto race lead, has already made his Joker. So he is on for a net podium finish if it stays as it is. But let's see what is going to happen here and wait and find out how it's all going to play out then. There is Ollie O'Donovan in second position now as Steve Hill's made his Joker, so he's dropped back behind him and spins on the exit of T2. Oh, Steve Hill, he's thrown a podium away at the end of this race. That's such a shame for the Mitsubishi Evo 10 driver then. And what an absolutely phenomenal race it's been. Robert Vitols then out of the final corner and over the line. He just kept his nose clean, and despite not making it at the start, wins the final for round 4 of the Supercars here at Knockhill, ahead of Ollie O'Donovan, ahead of Steve Hill, ahead of Tristan Ovenden, and then ahead ahead of Ovenden and ahead of Toehill, who now inherits 4th position, with Steve Hill finishing right down the order owing to that spin. Mike Seller, of course, sadly not making the checkered flag as a result of that gravel trap excursion, the car needing to be recovered by the marshals here. But Robert Vitols then, well, he kept his powder dry, kept his nose clean at the end of that race, and that's all he needed to do, really. He benefited from other people's misfortune and, of course, from having great pace once he got going as well. Sad for Ollie O'Donovan ending up in the gravel at that first corner. That cost him a chance of the win in the final for round 4 here in the Supercars. Such a shame to end the race under those circumstances. But once again, huge congratulations to Robert Vitols, who wins round 4, taking his 2nd win of the season in the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship.
I switched off the car in the start because I misclicked the buttons. Ready to race comes on, nothing's happening, no sound, everyone's gone. I'm like, what's happening? Ignition off, okay. 6 laps, pushing, really pushing without mistakes. Pushing, and then like 2 laps before the end, so first 2 coming out of the Joker and I'm in front. And my dad in on sputtering was, I think you are first. And I'm like, yes, let's go. And oh my God, but that is so enjoyable. I enjoyed it a lot, and then what a drive it was, yeah.
I'd been cutting the curb all day and getting away with it really nicely. Just didn't do anything different, made a good start in the lead, turned into the curb, and the car just got light and did a 360 in the air. And it landed, I was facing the wrong direction. It was a big fight to get back from there.
Roberts is definitely chasing your tail. It's turning into quite an interesting contest in the hunt for that championship.
It's really, really close, and I ain't giving up. We're still king of the jungle.